Southern Vanguard Radio, this is DJ John Doe, and right there in front of me in that little bitty computer screen is my man. Cappuccino man.
What's up? It's Meeks. Yes, sir.
You held true to your
How's everything?
You held true to you said you were going to start bringing things into the room every week. Like I see,
did you notice?
I did. I
see something new.
I see a printer, and I believe it's a printer.
Mm.
And
that's so. I'm talking about. No, this is the.
I see a crutch.
Piece of my footage. Right
oh, that's
here.
that's
right. So that's you caught that. So every week I'm gonna add a new piece to my Banksy type shit. I got some Banksy shit.
Mix is getting his Banksy on in the background. All right.
By the end of the year, man, I might have a multi-million-dollar art project on my hands, man. While you bullshit.
Well, so I mean, when we finally get back into when we finally get back into lab together, you're gonna have to bring that every week. I mean, you're kind of setting yourself up for a little project, man.
No, not gonna do that.
You're not gonna bring everything to the lab?
I mean, cause y'all was already talking about decluttering the basement and shit. Natalie don't want that shit in the basement.
I know what I mean.
It'll be fine right here.
If it's an art installation, it could be totally different. You can make a room for that.
It'll be fine right where it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right. I like that.
I'm working on it, man. I'm constantly building on it. It's got nice symmetry. And I really like the textures of it.
The angles that the crutch gives.
Exactly.
So the question is like, why?
I'm on some shit, man.
Where's the crutch from though? Like, why did you have to have the crutch? That's the question.
See, I have to finish the installment. There's a whole story. Like, there's, you know what I mean? There's gonna be an instructional video about how this all came about. It's a whole thing, man.
Okay,
it's a whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Smithsonian grave, baby.
I understand.
Smithsonian grave. Man.
I didn't realize you had this in you. I guess it took this, this Zoom platform to bring that out of you.
Yeah, I mean, you never know where you get your inspiration from.
All right.
Stop fucking with me now. So
how was your weekend, man? I can't help it. You actually did what you said you were going to do.
30 minutes long, man.
30 minutes long?
Right before I hopped on this shit, I was like, oh, there's a crutch. Weekend was 30 minutes long again, man.
All right.
I spent all 30 minutes looking for a car for my daughter.
Oh, okay. Any luck?
Yeah.
No luck.
Not really, man. Everything is jacked up right now. Gas prices. There's a meat shortage, a chicken wing shortage.
There's a Chick-fil-A sauce shortage.
Yeah, I heard there's a bourbon, soon to be bourbon shortage. We living in some hard times right now, G.
I was just talking about the car problem with that earlier today. That's a real thing. There's no cars, new or old.
Yeah, they out there. They gonna cost you though.
Right. Yeah.
I've been looking at some bullshit this weekend that's extremely overpriced.
Oh, really?
Like, man, if y'all don't get the fuck, how many miles is on this shit? And y'all want what for it? Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. But I did get a little insight. Somebody told me to wait till the end of the month.
Yes.
And things should be leveling off. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
All I know is I got a car already. I'm good.
Well, that's some Clark Howard shit too. Like, you and Dave Ramsey shit. You go buy a car at the end of the month. That's some like old school car buying trick shit too. Because they want to finish the month strong. So I don't know if that's real or not.
Yeah,
but
we'll
that's
see what happens.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We shall see. How about you? How was the weekend, man?
Running, gunning, man. 4 basketball games. What else? I didn't play 4 basketball games, but my son did. What else did we do? Church things on Sundays. They had 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. 3 of them, they took a pretty good licking. The one game on Sunday, the first game this morning, they actually held their own. Okay. But, you know, that AAU ball is different, man. Like, that's different from high school ball. It's a whole different.
That's the junior pro league.
Right.
They shooting from half court.
Oh yeah.
Motherfucker dribbling at the top of the key for 15 minutes straight.
Oh yeah,
that type of shit.
yeah, exactly. And every parent in that motherfucker thinks that their kid's going pro.
Yeah, they going straight to the league from AAU.
Straight to the league, right? Yes, exactly.
Straight to the league, man.
Exactly. And the refs don't know anything. They have no idea what they're doing the entire game.
It's a fucking racket.
Yeah. Nat's over here.
AAU basketball.
Yeah, right. And she said, "And it's $25 to get in for the weekend." That's the real bullshit.
Yeah. Racket. Straight
my
racket,
daughter,
son.
my daughter wanted to go to one of the games.
Organized crime.
Right,
yo.
exactly. Yeah. My daughter wanted to go to one of the games on Saturday. I'm like, you can't go. It's $25 for you to get in. I'm sorry, baby. You got to stay at home.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We'll go live and
right.
let you see us.
Right, exactly. Speaking of.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. It's bedtime here at Southern Vanguard Radio. Oh, we're having a moment back here. Okay.
Night Stories with Southern Vanguard Radio.
We've had a massive change. Okay, we've had a massive change to our schedule this week because it's end of the school year, and Meeks, you know how the end of the school year gets. It's a little hectic. So that was probably an audible being called in the background there, for whatever's going on tomorrow.
Man, congratulations to y'all for making it through the school year.
Oh, man, thank you. Congratulations to all of us for making it through the past year. Really?
Hell yeah.
Salute. Salute to that. Cheers.
Salute.
What are you drinking tonight, Meeks? Anything?
I'm about to get an Alka-Seltzer in a minute.
All right.
Nah, I'm pacing myself. I got some nice cold beers in the fridge there, buddy.
You gotta.
Yeah, man. Went out there, pick me up 12 of them things.
Are the hams out? Have the hams hit yet? Hams about to hit.
The hams have not come out yet.
They're about to, though.
Yeah, hams watches in full effect. I sure was looking for the motherfuckers
I know you
today. I was like, it's pretty warm out today. I think it might be hams weather.
Oh, man. Weather's
but
popping.
not yet.
Right.
Not yet. I'll let you know when they are.
Please do. All right. Well, enough about that.
Yeah.
Let's get into this rap shit. This is Southern Vanguard Radio. My name's DJ John Doe. There's Eddie Cappuccino, South Memphis, motherfucking East Macklemore Meeks, extraordinaire, Esquire.
Word.
We drop twice a week. Tuesdays is a mix show. All new hip hop, cut up, mixed up, sliced up. Meeks and I just talking crazy, usually drinking something good, having a good old time. And then on Thursdays we have an interview session with an MC or DJ or A&R or behind the scenes person or artist or whatever it may be. That's on Thursdays. So we drop twice a week on all your favorite platforms: SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube. YouTube's gotten interesting the past 6-7 weeks because we started posting video of the interview sessions, which people seem to be responding to favorably. So that's fun. And let's see here. What did I hit all of them? Yeah, I think I did, Meeks. And we have some affiliates as well that help us spread the word across the world.
Yes. And those affiliates are atlhiphop.com. I am classicrawradio.net. Return of the Boombap, WRBB. X Squad Radio, X Squad affiliates, all those in Atlanta. And then we venture out to the West Coast with Soul Public Radio, Cali.
Yes, sir. Oh, and excuse me. One more thing I wanted to mention that I think people just kind of end up realizing it because they listen to the mix. But usually on Sunday nights, that's when we record both of these shows. We flip on the camera during the mix show. So like I had somebody, I think it was one of Po Max people's hit me this weekend, and he was like, "Hey, you guys stream the show on Instagram Live." on Tuesdays, and I said no. It's usually on Sundays, but it's nothing fancy.
Yeah.
It's a little.
I saw that today.
Yeah, it's a little rough. It's a little loose, but we have a good time. So if you can think to flip on Instagram, or you want to turn on your notifications or whatever, usually around 11:15 Eastern, we've got the Instagram live running at the Southern Vangard Instagram account, and you can kind of get a little preview of what's going to happen on Tuesday. You could see Meeks and I excuse me, usually put the intro together at the beginning of the show. It's a fun time. So I wanted to throw that out there too.
Word.
All right, well, let's get into it. Our guest tonight, who's been extremely patient, he's been forced to head out to possibly his family minivan to do this interview, which sounds a lot like my life. We had him on the show.
I mean, basically, he's married,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but we had him, and we had him and his partner in music, Scorcese, on. Rest in peace, Scorcese. Back in the fall,
no doubt.
And unfortunately, a few months later, after that interview, Scorcese did pass unexpectedly. So it's been a rough couple of months for this brother right here and their families. But they're keeping it pushing, and that's why he's on the show this week. He has a brand new record getting ready to drop. We're going to world premiere some songs on episode 293 this week. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the one and only Griff.
Boom, 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 boom. Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Big Griff.
What's going on,
Yeah,
guys?
man.
How are you, man?
Big Griff, what's happening?
Not much. So hold up. You got to pay $25 per person to see your own kids play sports?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Yo, that's the craziest shit I ever heard. I guess so my two oldest kids are not at all into sports. They're artists, like, through and through. They think that sports shit is whack. I think the two younger boys are going to be athletes because they're fucking nuts. But so I can't relate to any of that yet.
When they yeah, Griff, when you show up at these places, man, they sometimes have a weekend package that includes like 2 tickets and maybe some popcorn and a soda at the drink machine. You know what I'm saying? But it's well worth it, man. We're talking about anywhere from $40 to $65, man. To see less than mediocre basketball.
Right.
It's insane.
I guess on another level, I can't relate because I guess growing up, I just wasn't very good at sports. I had a lot of fun playing them, but man, did I suck.
Yeah.
Oh, I was the same way.
You were better at other things. Clearly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh man. Well, Griff, it's good to see you, man. Shoot, let's just kick it off. With the big news this week. I mean, you're constantly dropping music, yourself or on Insubordinate, the record label. But this is a big week for you. Let's just kick it off and talk about Fireside Chats. I want to hear about this bowling alley too, man, and this punk scene. Sounds super interesting.
All right, so the album is called Fireside Chats. It's a concept that I came up with a long time ago during the first wave of my life as a producer. I wanted to do a whole album with one artist that I was working with at the time. And I wanted to make a bunch of beats flipping samples from punk songs because, sampling is a deep part of the culture, producers, beat makers, hip hop in general. And I was always like, flipping soul samples is like the cheat code, Sometimes it's just so easy. You just it's just a fucking loop. And, we hear a lot of that lately. But I always I wanted to push for something different. So I was like, I came up a punk rock kid, like going to shows and shit like that in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So I made a handful of beats way back in the day along that concept, and then just kind of let it die along with a lot of other things. And, after linking up with Scorcese, as we were talking about, just kind of rehashed the idea. Like I ran it by him. He's like, that's a dope fucking idea. Like you should run with that. So over the past couple of years in between working on other projects, I've been putting that together. The name comes from, it's like a double play on words, obviously FDR's Fireside Chats was a thing back during the Great Depression. And then the Fireside Bowl was a legendary punk rock venue in Chicago. It's an old time bowling alley. I think it was built in like the 30s. And it was a bowling alley. Like my grandma bowled there. That's how long it's been there.
It's like a Chicago institution, right? Like I looked it up a little bit and dug into it a little bit. It's super interesting.
It really is. It holds the record for most times voted worst bathrooms in the city.
Wow.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was going to ask you, I like the way you describe it here. It was disgusting and magical at the same time. And I just
absolutely
I just had visions of the MJQ concourse, man.
Oh, God.
That's a spot here in Atlanta. Typically when you go in there, it's underground and it's super dark and all you can see is like the DJ and maybe somebody on stage. I fucked around, was in there one night when the lights was on.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, shit.
This
is where we stand in for hours on. Just like, man, they need to hurt these lights off. And I've never been in the restrooms at the Q. I refuse to do it. I go outside.
Go piss in the alley out back.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's much
back
cleaner.
when you could leave a venue, you could walk out and then still come back in.
Right.
Yeah. And come back in. Yeah, exactly.
When the smoking section wasn't like this little herded off area for the cattle to go smoke cigarettes.
Hell yeah. But Griff, real quick, what does it mean for you to have a place like that? That inspires you still to this day. Like, venues are hard to come by now. Also, being able to frequent one now is neither here nor there. So what does it mean to you growing up, being able to go to that place and still tap into it and be inspired by it?
I think just not even specifically that venue, but like during that like era of my life, like mid to late teenage years, like that moment where you discover that there's more to music than like what you're just seeing on MTV and like mainstream music. You know what I mean? Like there's like this whole independent scene of like artists that put out their own music and shit like that. And it's like, it feels like really fucking inspiring and like liberating to be like, oh, there's opportunity, like there's all this shit happening. So like the Fireside was really the mecca of that, but like we were also going to, because I grew up like an hour and a half outside of Chicago. So like all throughout the suburbs at like any place that would let you put on a show, like somebody was putting on a show. So every weekend you could just travel and find some bands playing at some VFW or church or whatever. And that really just kind of like shaped me and my perception of like making music and independent as fuck, if you will. To quote the great LP.
Yeah. So when was this Griff? This was like high school ish or
high school, like basically as soon as I got a driver's license. So like when you're like 16.
Yeah, I think that's what
before that, like my mom drove me. I would get my mom to drive me to shows. She wouldn't take me as far as the city, but she would take me like around.
Right.
Like if it was within a half hour, like my mom would take me and then like pick me up when it was over.
Yeah. There were two things in high school that changed my life significantly. One was getting a driver's license and having a mom and dad that were very cool with me doing about whatever. And probably me doing some things against my better judgment. Two, I managed to have the internet in 1995.
That's kind of early.
Broadband too, like not dial up. Like I had cable internet at the house in 1990. I think it was my senior year of high school, which would have been fall of 94. I had broadband internet at my house. So like I'm
damn, huh?
Ooh, that's baller status.
Yeah.
That's balling.
Yeah. So I was pretty early on like the internet like hip hop wave, like Usenet groups and shit like that. Early Sandbox. I mean, you mentioned LP, like I bought Company Flow's I think it was technically an EP, but it was a double EP on clear vinyl. A lot of people don't have it. It wasn't their first 12-inch that came out on Libra, but it was their first one that came out on what was it called? Official. Anyway,
Yeah.
that totally changed my life. And it's interesting, man, you bring up the punk too, because like when I got my driver's license and I can move around a little bit, you know, I'm from a small town in Kentucky, but I was always in Louisville or Nashville. And in Louisville specifically, like because I hung out with skateboarders and shit like that at home, like we always ended up getting roped into some punk shows, ended up getting wrapped into some hip hop shows, ended up going to raves, like ended up doing all kinds of stuff, man, which is in an either like when you really step back and think about it, you think about like the early 80s, you know, when hip hop was popping in New York, like that same shit was happening then, like in Manhattan with like the punk scene and the hip hop scene and Basquiat and Warhol. And it's just so interesting. Like when people had those experiences at different points in their lives, even like now, you know, it's wild.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it was crazy too, cause like being into like that independent punk rock scene was like what also like led me to like the independent hip hop scene. Like cause like I didn't grow up in the city. So like cats that grew up in the city, like had a wider exposure to rap music and hip hop. So like once I started realizing that there was like an underground rap scene, I was like, oh, they have independent and underground rap too. Like that shit blew my mind. Actually, I was just out at my parents' house recently and I picked up like a box of all my cassettes. And I have a copy of The Grouch, Fuck the Dumb on cassette.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that was like one of the first like underground rap shows I went to. It was like Eli and the Grouch and Idea and Abilities and shit like that.
Yeah.
I had never heard any of them before going to the show, but one of my boys was, it's like underground rap, like independent rap. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go. Like, I want to find out about this.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, in the Midwest too was like big. I mean, they had that whole indie wave with Rhyme Sayers and Atmosphere and Idea and all that stuff.
They did a bunch of shows too. Like Atmosphere did a bunch of shows with there's a punk band from Minneapolis called Dillinger 4. Quite probably my favorite punk band of all time. But they used to do a bunch of shows together. Like on the Lucy Ford EP, like the original pressing of it, there's a picture of a slightly overweight dude on it, and that's actually the bass player from Dillinger 4.
Really? Interesting. Man, it's bugged out. Huh.
Shout out to Minneapolis.
Yeah, right. So
no doubt.
So Griff, how'd the project come together then? I mean, you had the concept in the back of your brain and kind of Scorcese like told you to run with it. So what was the official kickoff for it, or has this been a slow burn for a few years?
It's really been a slow burn. So there was like the original concept where I made a bunch of beats and never did anything with them, and then like revitalizing the idea maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And then I just decided to make it like a compilation style as opposed to just like, one rapper, one producer with a couple features or whatever. I think what held me back the original time was I just didn't know enough people. Like I was still new to making beats and like I didn't really fucking know any rappers, not to the extent that I do now. So it was really Scorcese pushing me, and then just, meeting the right people and us investing in each other and wanting to get down together, obviously Alex Ludovico is a perfect fit for the project. He's on there a couple of times. I mean, he's a punk rock dude that just happens to make rap music and not really listen to much punk.
Really? Okay.
And then building all the connections, all the people that I work with regularly, just really being into the idea and wanting to get down, ZILLA ROCCA, Curly Castro, everybody, and then reaching out to some dudes outside of the regular circle that were fortunate enough to be into it and want to get down.
Sure.
But yeah, like everything else, it takes fucking forever.
Right. Yeah. So the other folks that are on this outside of the regular cast of characters, I guess that'd be like Billy Woods and Juganaut and who else?
Yep. That was the first time working with either of those dudes. Really super fucking awesome that they came through, like Juganaut. Like I was like, if we're running the concept all the way top to bottom, like I felt it very important to get a UK influence on one of the tracks because of the obvious importance of like the UK influence in punk rock.
Sure.
They didn't start it over there. Don't believe those fucking lies. But it was it was definitely, I definitely had to get, like, I needed a fucking British accent at some point on the album. And then the first time I heard Juganaut, I was like, yo, I bet I could probably fucking reach out to this dude and get him on there. So I just like randomly hit him up on Instagram, told him about the concept. He was totally into it, came through and crushed it. And
he's a beast, man.
And that's what happens.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's absolutely a beast. Like, you know, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to keep up with all the music out there these days. But whenever Juganaut drops, I make sure to drop everything and check that shit out because, like, he never comes short.
For sure. Make sure you were going to say something. I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
I did. I meant to cut you off.
Oh, you did.
Continue.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You were talking about the process of putting everything together, and it was a slow burn, and these things take time. But as you look at it now, with everything about to drop, did it come together as you hoped it would, or you don't have any regrets, do you, about, you know, putting this project out at this point in time right now, do you?
No regrets. There was definitely a pretty major curveball thrown in there when Scorcese passed away. Because originally we had planned to release it earlier, along with a few other things. So that kind of it pushed the release date of the project back. There was definitely a stretch where I didn't work on much of anything shortly after he passed. But I left a couple tracks off. Like, I have a couple tracks that he was on that I just wasn't quite ready for. I figure I'm going to hold them for part 2 if I choose to do a part 2. Otherwise, they'll see the light of day at some point or another. But I definitely just reached a point where I was just like collecting songs, collecting contributions from rappers and other artists. And I was just like, at some point after he passed, I was like, I got to get back to work on this. And then I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm finishing all the songs that are in process, and then I'm going to put it together as an album. Like, I haven't, like, if he had not passed, I would have pushed on and probably made a handful of newer tracks and got a couple other artist contributions on there. But like, it just got there was just a blockage there that I was like, you know what? We're good to go. Let's fucking move forward and let's go from here. And the finished product, it's, you know, the basic version of the album is 10 songs, which is like the perfect amount. And I'm extremely happy with what's on there and the sequence and everything, and no regrets in that regard.
So there's a couple of bonus cuts, right? I believe what you sent me has the bonus cuts in it.
Yeah. You got that bonus version. You know, I'll be looking out for you out here at Southern Vanguard.
Thank you.
You get the VIP package. But yeah, there's 3 bonus cuts. There's a joint called The Baddest with Purge. He's from up in the Boston area. There's an untitled song with King Micah the Infamous, which, by the way, if you guys or anybody listening hasn't checked out his album that just dropped with Mighty Healthy, King Mighty 2, it's absolute fire. I'm not saying that because those are my guys and I'm cool with them. Like,
I was actually going to ask you about that, because I think we played for the first time. We played a cut from him, like either last episode or the prior episode, and I know nothing about this guy. Or those guys.
No, he's great. Mighty Healthy's great. Just like, you know, you meet a lot of people doing this music stuff, and a lot of them are just, you know, they're cool on a music level, but like personally, like, you're just like, whatever, you know, not somebody you would invite over for dinner or whatever. But both of those dudes are great fucking dudes. I love them.
Here's what it was. It was episode 291, Hot Out Here, was the joint with Guilty Simpson.
Yes. They had Guilty on that album. Elzaz on that album.
Yeah. So those are Detroit cats, or?
King Micah is from Detroit, and Mighty Healthy's from Miami.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Right.
So we all linked up through like a producer and artist online chat group, basically through there's a particular producer. I don't give anybody free publicity, but there was a producer who did like a touring, like listening sessions basically. And like, I went to one in Chicago, they went to one in Miami. And through that, we all entered this chat group together. And like, we just happened to kind of gravitate towards each other because of the style of music that we were making and what we were into versus what other people in the group were doing. So we just all kind of clicked on that. And that was like 2 years ago. And we just developed the relationship from there, and super impressive, like what those guys put together. King Mighty, the first album they did together was great, but this is just like light years beyond that. It's really fucking good. In a way, it's got some Mad Villain vibes, so I highly recommend it.
Sure. Okay.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
So that was the second cut, the third bonus cut. It's a remix, I believe.
It's a remix. Scorcese has a joint on there called Summer of Punk. And it's a remix I did of that. That joint was like one that was cut short by his passing. He recorded it and was gonna like go back in for a second draft and just touch up a couple little things, but passed before he was able to do that. And one of the things we were gonna do was, like, he was actually waiting on me at the time. I was like, oh, I'm going to splice in some beat switches, like for fills and shit like that. And I hadn't done it yet. So I wanted to keep the track intact, how he recorded to it. And then all the beat switches that I had in mind, I just kind of compiled into one giant remix.
Okay. Dope.
So it's a special treat. You get that one whether you buy the digital or the any of the physical options, the CDs or the cassettes. The other two bonus joints are only on the physicals. They're not included with the digital.
Okay.
You know why? Because there's levels. Because there's levels to this shit.
I was gonna ask you, is Insubordinate doing the physicals, or are you going through a third party?
No, it's Insubordinate all the way. InsubordinateRecords.com. Right. Yeah, CDs and cassettes. The cassettes got alternate artwork by my guy Ethan Dirkole.
Beautiful. All right. You doing vinyl too, Griff, or?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Maybe if there's enough demand for it, like we'll look into it. But I'm sure you guys know, like vinyl, all the vinyl plants are so backed up.
Yep.
That if I were going to do vinyl, it wouldn't be till like 6 months after the release date. So it's tough to pull that off.
Sure.
I try to stay proactive, but unfortunately, I'm never that proactive.
Yeah. There's one prominent kind of hip hop underground vinyl label that does very well that we all know, that I heard about a month ago that they're basically booked into like spring of 2022. Like that's
I've heard that about a similar described label, so I imagine we're thinking about the same one.
Probably. Yeah.
No free publicity, of course.
Right. Well, I just don't know if I was supposed to know that information or not, so I don't want to blow anybody's.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, man, the vinyl backlog right now is nuts. So,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Stupid pandemic, fucking everything up.
Shit, that was before the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the vinyl game might.
Well, yeah, it's just amplified now. Like,
yeah.
And nobody's playing shows, so you got to get your money some other way.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Crazy.
Griff, you ready for that?
Ready?
Oh man. I was speaking of the shows, I was gonna ask you, are you ready for that to come back online? Like, do you anticipate maybe doing an official release for the record?
I would love to put together something. We got some friends, the Watch Party Live. They do live stream shit. So we were maybe considering linking up with them, because we can do the live stream for the people across the world, and then they can still. Previously, they could pack like 25 people in the venue and still be like within like whatever city guidelines. But the guidelines obviously have loosened significantly in the past 72 hours.
Right.
So we'll see what could possibly happen there. So It's a brave new world out
And to
there. Let's
answer
see
your
what
question,
happens.
Hell yeah. Everybody willy-nilly right now. And to answer your question, the last time we did a show was
January
2019.
No. Well,
January of 20.
Well, it depends what you define as show, Meek. So we had our 5th anniversary show with Marlon Craft and Bobby Fino and Self Jupiter and all that.
Yeah, I was talking about us
you
as
and me. Right.
I think that was for I think that was for Jax.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Shouts out to Lisa for pulling us in on that. But yeah, it's been a minute. I was just talking about that the other night to my brother. How ill it was, and just to be able to, close your eyes and visualize, killing shit on any given night. And it's, I think a lot of people are itching to get back out there, man. But be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful.
So, Griff, what is I don't know, what are you kind of expecting when this thing drops, man? Like, I mean, because the punk thing is definitely a new twist. I don't know that I've kind of seen that. I mean, it's kind of tough to be unique these days as far as concept albums and things go, I feel like. Well, I don't think it's tough to be unique. Yeah. I think people are scared to be unique. So we just end up getting the same shit over and over and over and over and over again.
I think you kind of nailed it right there. Like, that's kind of why I tackled this angle or whatever. Because one, it's important to me. It's part of like my musical taste and how I operate and everything. And two, like, I just never really heard anybody do it. So I think when you have an idea and it seems like you got an original idea, like, you got to fucking run with that, because those are few and far between these days.
Right.
Like, if I did a whole album flipping Michael Jackson samples, like, nobody gives a shit, because that's been done a million times.
Right.
Right. But I think already, as far as expectations go, like, we opened up pre-orders already on the final Bandcamp Friday earlier this month, and like, I keep my expectations low, hope for the best, plan for the worst type of shit. But my expectations have been wildly succeeded, like, just,
oh, good, man.
How Bandcamp goes, like, you see who's purchasing shit, and like, you got your regular fans and investors and customers. And then, like, you start, like, this particular project, I've just seen so many new names popping up there.
Interesting.
And words can't even describe how great that fucking feels,
Right. So you said final Bandcamp Friday. Are they ending that?
That's what I was told. I haven't actually fact checked that, because fact checking is for pussies.
They just did it for the pandemic, and like Griff just said, it's a brave new world out there. So of course,
So
Bandcamp no longer wants to waive their fees anymore.
Yeah. So. Can we discuss that? That's probably a mistake for them. Like,
oh, it's a huge mistake.
Even with the pandemic ending, like, because where they drop that, like, some other company, some other service, website, whatever, is gonna pick that up. Nobody's time in the sun lasts forever, and like, Bandcamp is killing it right now. But like, I feel like they're dropping the ball.
Well, here's the thing.
And besides, everybody knows too. Like, they come for that money. Like. They don't take the 10% for one day, but then the next day you'll sell some shit, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, where's the PayPal? And it's not there because it's some revenue share shit.
And it doesn't matter how much money it is, right? So like, I'll see something drop in from Bandcamp, and it might be somebody buying one song. The next day they are taking their 26-cent share. Really, like 26 cents.
They'll even take the shipping, and it's like, I got to go pay to ship this out of pocket and whatever. It's not like a bank breaking amount, but damn, you took the shipping? Like, that's an operational expense. That's not profit, you son of a bitch.
It's crazy, bro. That's why you go to my Bandcamp page and that shit is got AAU prices on it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I know. Shells before he passed, he marked up like all the digital downloads to like $500. He's like,
Yeah,
you want to get the Nation Gang digital? Like, it's $500. You want to buy a CD? It's $15, and you get the digital for free.
Hell yeah!
Right.
He's like, because if they're gonna
man.
take it, you can take it out of 500.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hell yeah.
No shit.
Hell yeah.
That's real.
Unsurprisingly, nobody's
man.
ever paid $500 for a digital download, unfortunately.
Of course not. Of course,
we sold a couple CDs, so hey, fuck it, let's go.
Well, you know what's really unfortunate about that? I mean, one of many things that's unfortunate about that, Griff, is that, you know, as we've been talking to a lot of folks, you know, like you over the past year, I feel like at the beginning of you know, the whole COVID kickoff, you know, this time last year, it was a shit show and people didn't know, you know, which way was up. But I feel like as we kind of got into the summer, people had adjusted, and obviously all those people back then, like, their output increased substantially because they were at home. So once summer hit, or like into spring, summer hit, I mean, we saw it here at the show. I mean, remember me? It was just like a fucking onslaught of new music. And, you know, I think it was around fall when we started talking to folks, there were people that, you know, of various levels and success in this, you know, this thing that we're all a part of, right? They were like, this is the most money I've ever made off music in my entire life is this year. They were in a weird way. They were talking about how strange it is that, like, they feel bad for being happy because the pandemic was actually good for them from a music standpoint. It's really interesting. And then to hear you say that, I had not heard that about Bandcamp. I hope that's not true. Because I think that helped fuel, you know, that whole thing back then, right? As people really got excited about it, artists got behind it. I need to dig into that, man. That was really disappointing. So,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird sentiment. I was right there with them too. Like, I was like, man, 2020 is great, but not also great at the same time. Like, but from a music level, it was a fucking fantastic year.
Yeah. I'm surprised somebody hasn't bought them yet.
Right?
Like, does somebody own?
You know, you got to.
Yeah.
I don't think they're part of like any sort of conglomerate or anything. Not yet, at least. That must be a conscious decision on their part because so many people are just looking to cash out, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think people just don't want to be the douches that they are. You know, that's a hell of a responsibility. Yeah. On one hand, oh shit, I bought Bandcamp. I like, well, now we don't really fuck with you. So it's like, everybody wants to put that bullseye on their back like that. I mean, but for the most part, Bandcamp.
Yeah, watch Spotify and fuck
Bandcamp
around and buy that.
Right.
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, generally speaking, is cool.
You know, I could make a laundry list of things that I would want to improve about Bandcamp. I actually maybe already have done that.
I believe
it. but overall, conceptually, executionally, like, Bandcamp's fucking awesome. You know, like, we talk shit about and nitpick little things, but overall, it's fucking great.
Agreed. We hear the same thing. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, where else you gonna go right now?
Right. So, you know, you do Bandcamp till you start your own platform, which, you know, that's the next step.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
So Griff, what else is what's on tap for you guys the rest of 2021? I think Alex has an album on the way. Did I read that somewhere?
Yeah. Alex got an album called White Boy on the way. That's gonna be fucking fantastic. So that should drop sometime this summer. I'm working on some stuff with Alaska.
Oh, okay. Dope.
Yeah.
Adam's Family, Alaska.
What's that?
Adam's Family.
Yeah, Adam's Family, Alaska. Okay. Yep. Poppin' Apocalypse. We got in the fall, in September, we're gonna do some Scorcese celebration stuff. We should have like a bit of a tribute album put together, as well as come fall and winter, you'll start seeing some of his stuff come to life that he was working on. There'll be East Hampton Polo Boys winter catalog will hit this winter. It was going to hit this past winter, but obviously didn't.
Sure.
But that's a fucking masterpiece. That's a work of art. Shout out to Panels. Yeah, what else? That's the main things. Probably going to be a whole bunch of loosies and random stuff. We got some merch collabs happening. That'll probably drop pretty soon here. I also dabble with a little bit of graphic design and things of that nature. So I just designed a shirt for a fairly popular rap act that'll be dropping soon.
Oh, dope. Okay. All right. Beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, you know, we're full of surprises over at Insubordinate Records.
I wouldn't expect anything like that.
Griff, I gotta ask you one last question, man. How does it feel to be able to continue Scorcese's legacy by still being able to release his music, whatever projects, loosies here and there? How does that feel, and what is that responsibility like from your standpoint?
You know, on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis, it's a real fucking mixed bag. If I'm being real with you, like, on one hand, it feels like great to, like, you know, continue to put out his stuff and hear his voice and everything. On the other hand, it can be like emotionally, like, just really fucking heavy, like really fucking depressing. Like Bandcamp Friday was just like, this past Bandcamp Friday was just like a emotional roller coaster. Like, cause you know, the phone keeps buzzing with like pre-orders coming through and you get excited and you're like, I reached to shoot him a text and I can't. I mean, I can, but it's not going anywhere, you know?
Right.
So like, it's a real fucking mixed bag. You know, yeah, man, it's fucking heavy, you know, to be honest with you. But I keep telling, you know, when we talk about that, you know, like the overarching theme is always like, if we don't put out his music, he's going to come back and whip our asses. Like, because he's that type of dude.
And I believe that. I believe that.
During the blog era, he used to, like, a blogger would shit on him, like dude from Not Right shit on him, and he offered to buy him a plane ticket to come out to where Shells was at to get his ass whipped. So to think that he wouldn't fucking make the trip from the afterlife to fuck me up for not putting out some of his greatest fucking works. I really believe that that's possible.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
That is.
If anybody could pull it off, it'd be him. So
no doubt.
Yeah, but
that's
man,
crazy.
the shit that he was working on before his passing was fantastic. I mean, I guess I'm not revealing anything too crazy, but like, he's got an album with Chumzilla doing all the beats, and it's like some of his best writing that I've ever heard. It's so good. I listen to it and I stay pretty humble when I listen to like other producers. Like, I'm like, this guy's fucking great. Like, I don't get a big head or whatever and think I'm the greatest producer ever. But when I listen to that, like, the beats are fantastic and his writing is so good. Like, I'm super envious. Like, not to put down anything we ever did together, but it's so good.
Dope. All right.
I'm happy to hear that, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that too.
Yeah.
Was it hard getting all the data and the files and like things like that, or was that pretty? Was that a tough thing to have to kind of like what?
I got a lot of stuff. He was pretty meticulous with backing things up.
Okay.
He had like 6 flash drives, like really large flash drives. So
good.
There's all that stuff. There's a few things I couldn't find that I would have liked to find that might just be kind of lost for the ages. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay.
He recorded a track for the project with Alaska, which I can't find the sessions for. So we're either putting out that MP3 that he sent me, or maybe I'll come across those.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that, man.
I got a feeling it'll turn up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to see you guys, continuing to move it forward. I know it was a massive, tragedy for you guys, but, man, I'm so happy to see you guys pushing forward and keep moving. And like you said, you don't really have any choice because he will come back, from the afterlife to kick your ass.
And fuck shit up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fuck shit up.
Word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Griff, anything else you want to get
Count
off?
on it.
You want to get off your chest, man? I want to talk to the people about.
Well, let me know. What do you guys? You guys got any favorite joints off the album?
You know what? My joints. Well, I'm a ZILLA ROCCA fan. Albeit I'm admittedly a fairly new one. So I mean, I love just about anything that ZILLA gets on. I'm looking at my Serato right now. I'm fucking with the Prem Rock joint. The Prem Rock. Alex is on that as well. Sketch 185.
Yep.
I did have the King Micah joint flagged. What else did I have flagged in here? I did have the Scorcese joint flagged. I think those were my joints. Those are like my top. I have like 2 tiers of.
Honest with you, Griff, I haven't heard anything. This will be tonight when we get into the mix. It'll be a first for me, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Let me know.
Yeah, man. Griff, I usually have kind of like 2 tiers of labeling in Serato. I have like gold, which is like, or yellow, which is kind of like those are what I think are the best tracks, and then I have green is kind of like I like them, but they might fit better in a mix. That's kind of like my approach when I'm DJing, and when I go through tracks for the week. So I'll send you a screenshot of, what I flagged. And sometimes folks like to see that. They like to get feedback sometimes on like what the next single should be, or like just get a feel for like what DJs are fucking with. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
That's some real record pool shit right there.
Yeah, and I mean both of you gentlemen are men with impeccable taste, so always love to hear what you think.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. I've never heard that from
impeccable, Meeks.
Any of our guests on the show.
Impeccable. Impeccable
awesome.
with a capital I.
I mean, we're gonna play the joints. You don't have to do that, Griff. We're gonna play them.
I know we locked in. That's how you know. That's how you know it's a genuine compliment. I'm not out here blowing smoke up anybody's ass.
That's right.
No doubt. We appreciate
and Griff,
it, man.
thank you for letting us debut that Ode to Raekwon, man. That was so dope. Like thank you so much, man.
Thank you for doing that. That joint was.
That means a lot.
That joint was crazy.
Yeah.
And hey, shout out to ZILLA ROCCA for piecing that together. Panels made the beat, and ZILLA pieced that shit together from. Shells was sending him like voice memo texts, and he pieced it together. That's why you hear like the flow kind of falls off with here and there throughout it, because he just pieced that together from some phone recordings. So
that's amazing.
Shout out to ZILLA for being a genius on that.
No doubt. That's amazing, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, Griff. Well, tell folks where they can go to cop the album, hit the social medias, all that, and we'll let you get back to your in-laws.
Oh yeah. We're having a good time. We played. Let me ask you guys one question before we come off the air.
Okay.
When you play spades, you gotta.
Oh.
You can't lead with spades until somebody's broken that shit, right?
Yes. Correct.
Thank you. I thought that was common knowledge. It was a whole fucking. I mean, you can't play a game of spades without an argument, but that was our argument when we played spades last night.
Or a fist fight. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, the fuck are you doing leading with spades? That's some bullshit. Anyways, love them. It's been a great visit. It will continue to be a great visit. So
of course, man.
Yeah.
I just want to stick to the rules. I'm a stickler for the rules.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And
I gotta tell you though, Griff. Somebody leading with spades is pretty much letting you know that I'm Trump tight over here. So
yeah. I'm about to fuck your shit up.
Right.
I'm about to run this table.
Hell yeah. That's a precursor for doom.
Right.
Yeah, I'm playing this card to let you know you bid too high.
Right. Or they got a pocket full of spades in their back pocket. They're just,
oh man.
It's crazy.
Not a good look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man.
So
socials, websites,
social media. You can follow me at I am Jason Griff on Twitter and Instagram, and you could probably find me on Facebook. I don't know what the fucking thing is, but insubordinaterecords.com is the spot for all of our merchandise. For Fireside Chats, we have physicals, we have CDs, we have cassettes. The cassettes are very limited. A lot of them are spoken for already. So if you want one, jump on one now. And on album release day, Friday, May 21st, I'll be releasing a limited quantity of hand-printed poster prints from the album cassette art.
Dope.
Each one is one of a kind. They're hand done. They got glow-in-the-dark ink on them. They're fucking immaculate. They're beautiful. Everyone should have one in their house. Enough of the sales pitch. But yeah, you get all that at insubordinaterecords.com. Sign up for go to our Bandcamp through that, and sign up for to follow us on the mailing list. We drop all of our information, new releases, et cetera. All that info comes through via the Bandcamp mailing list well before we start announcing it on social media. So tap in there to know everything before everybody else knows.
I can confirm that. I see all your guys' updates are spot on and on the money, and you guys are really great about keeping on top of that.
Well before we share it with the commoners, investors first.
No doubt. Beautiful. Oh, and let's see here, firesidebowl.com if you want to go check out the bowling alley that the Griff's
there's a website, but so that's the thing. Like, they shut it down from doing shows in the early 2000s, and it's like a bowling alley again. I've never actually bowled there.
Yeah,
I've been there a million times, but never bowled.
Yeah. It's still there. I did a little research, and they don't have a fancy website. I mean, the website looks like it could be from my high school year 1994. So it's still
it's a GeoSites or GeoCities or whatever.
Right, yeah, Netscape Navigator or some shit like that,
Yeah.
Oh, GeoCities.
If you want to actually, if you check out firesdie.com, that's the Brian Peterson, who was the original booker of shows at the Fireside when they were doing shows. He has a website, firesdie.com.
Oh, really?
It's got like flyers and history and all that stuff. I heard a rumor that he's putting together a book. But we'll see. But shout out to him. He's cool.
No doubt. Beautiful. Okay. Griff, thank you, man. Great catching up with you, my man.
Man, thank you guys for having me. Hopefully this won't be the last time. We'll link up again in the future.
Absolutely.
Appreciate everything you guys do.
No Absolutely.
Doubt. Great show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my man.
Appreciate it,
Peace to you, my brother.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, Griff.
You too. Peace.
All right, my man.
All right. Peace.
All right. Well, there you go, Meeks. Another one in the chamber. Good
one too. That's a good
it's a great
right
one. Yeah, good dude. Great story. And keeping things going for Scorcese, which is obviously super dope. Let's see, 293. So if you're here,
you know what, homie, I try not to think about those type of situations, but I be lying to myself if I say I didn't think about that at times. Like, what if something was to happen to one of us and we sitting on this music and how would it get out?
I know. I've thought about it too. Yeah.
It's crazy to even think about. Yeah, it's crazy to even think about that shit. But I will say this, if it's the MC to go first, then the producer has every responsibility, because they got everything. So that shit ought to come out immediately. It ought to be when you get the funeral program. It ought to be a CD in there. I'm just saying, man. Anyway,
I got you.
Yeah, man. 293.
Yeah, Natalie says you have a big responsibility if I check out of this motherfucker first, man. So I think we know.
We might learn to DJ for myself. Shit,
we might need to do a password like swap or something like that. Because Natalie said you're moving in.
Oh man. Oh shit. By that time, I definitely might need a place to move in. Thank you. I'm looking forward to that. I feel so secure right now. It's crazy. Yeah, man. But like
All
you were
right,
saying,
y'all,
man,
yeah.
293.
293.
Getting closer and closer to 300.
300.
Y'all stay with us, man. We 7 away.
We are the Guard,
Yeah,
Smithsonian Great. Twice a week Meeks, twice a week Doe. We out.
No doubt.
Peace.
Peace, y'all. Southern Vanguard Radio. We out.